what is next? Let's bring in CTV News political commentator Scott Reid, who is standing by. Scott, good to see you. So we've got Parliament coming back. They have to put together a fiscal framework. We know there are going to be cuts to the budgets of many different departments, possible recession happening for Canada, Donald Trump. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on for Mark Carney.
There's a lot of stuff, but I'm going to pick something out of the middle that you mentioned, and that is the threat of recession. And if you're in government, you know that recessions are vote killers. You know that recessions chip away not just at jobs and growth, but also political popularity. So that has got to be the #1 focus and concern for the government. And I think it's why you've seen some of this shift in language we just heard from the two ministers. The prospects of a breakthrough with the Trump White House, it seems very unlikely now. And, you know, who knows, maybe something strange will occur. Strange things often occur around Donald Trump. But you can hear the emphasis on, let's look after our own knitting. Let's make certain that our workers, our industry, our sectors are well taken care of. Let's do everything we can to goose our own economy. I think that's going to be the refrain you're going to hear from the Prime Minister, from his ministers, from this government as it starts to open the House on the 15th of September.
Yeah, I'm also curious when you talk about trying to mitigate the impact of a possible recession. You know, when you are in government, what can you do, Scott, if you see that, you know, train coming at you, you know, and your largest trading partner has become unreliable and frankly antagonistic towards you? I mean, what sort of leverage does Carney really have here?
Well, in terms of managing tough economic times, you have to think short-term and longer-term. So longer-term are things like massive infrastructure projects, so you can start to get energy built so that down the road you'd be able to ship it out. There's a short-term build as well, in the sense that, or a short-term bump in the sense that there's some construction jobs and other economic activity. But in the short term, immediately, that's where you hear the emphasis on, let's make certain that we have targeted support for those industries that are particularly hard hit. We think about auto, we think about steel. And let's make certain that, as well, we're doing everything we can to goose growth. So everybody will be watching to see, as an example, at the Bank of Canada lowers interest rates. That provides some measure of growth, maybe get some lending and some money moving around in the economy. And the government will attempt to do as much as it can at the same time. But it is, as you mentioned, also trying to cut back spending. So it's trying to make this big distinction. We're going to cut back all this, the fat, all the unnecessary operational spending, so that we can direct more money toward things that will supercharge the economy and create long-term growth and jobs.
I mean, there is a narrative that the federal government grew too bloated, big under Justin Trudeau, and that Mark Carney is going to try and cut that back. Do you think he's got support of a majority of Canadians for that right now, Scott?
Yeah, I do, in broad terms. When you say it that way, people's heads nod. But, you know, if the relative impact of that is that the one sector of the economy that appears to still be producing jobs is the public sector, if that should slow to a trickle, then suddenly you have no job growth. That becomes a challenge, and it starts to be felt because people aren't spending, people aren't going out, people aren't, you know, taking time to be in a restaurant or make large purchases, and that starts to trickle its way through the economy. So it is a balancing act. The Prime Minister is trying to execute a reallocation exercise as much as anything. And who knows if it'll be successful in substance or in political terms. But the argument that he's trying to make is, we're going to spend less on keeping, you know, the lights on running the machinery of government, on all the contracts that are necessary to fuel government. We're going to try to spend less on that so we can spend more on things that put shovels in the ground, put money in your pocket, and put momentum behind the economy. We'll see if he's successful.
Scott Reid with his take. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.